Ben, thank you. Hello and welcome to Look North. On the programme tonight, under control, North Yorkshire's fire chief says a huge moorland blaze has now been contained.
As I've reported, we have now over 48 hours we've contained the fire and there's been no further fire spread within that area.
Additional resources from as far as London and the southwest have arrived in North Yorkshire to assist. Also tonight, train travellers are warned of disruption as Huddersfield station closes for a month for vital upgrade work. Remembering Liz Hatton, we speak to her family ahead of what would have been the teenager's 18th birthday. The sweet sound of success of the Yorkshire Dales, the home of the country's last piano maker.
And it's looking unsettled this weekend. Outbreaks of rain on Saturday, sunshine and showers on Sunday. I'll have more details for you towards the end of the programme.
Hello, thank you for your company this Friday evening. First tonight, it's the news that communities across North Yorkshire have been waiting for. The fire that's brought devastation for almost 3 weeks is finally contained and under control. In a moment, we'll have the latest report from the control centre near Pickering. But first, a reminder, the fire broke out on the evening of August the 11th. Well, today is the 19th day since the moorland began burning. At its peak, the fire covered around 10 square miles or 25 square kilometres between Scarborough and Whitby. To get a sense of the scale, that's around 3,500 football pitches. Our fire crews and local farmers have been working around the clock to get the blaze under control, and support has been drawn from 10 other regions to assist North Yorkshire Fire and Rescue Service. Well, last night more equipment and teams arrived as the work to contain the blaze continued. Tom Miggle has this report.
Here come the cavalry. Get ready to see fire engines from all points of the country here in North Yorkshire.
The update from this morning, we currently have 12 operational appliances at scene. There are also specialist appliances there, which include our high volume pumps, and we still have the helicopter working for aerial support.
Almost 3 weeks into this fire, with local farmers joining the effort to fight it, a decision has been made to reach beyond the ridings for help. Given the size of this fire, did you call for help soon enough?
Yes, from day one, literally from the first fire call, we have had mutual aid support. So we've been supported by all the neighbouring counties around North Yorkshire, but there becomes a point where we have exhausted both our local crews and the regional crews. And that's why I then decided that we would go to a national resilience, which effectively means that we can ask anybody within the country to then come and help. That's normal protocol. We've requested this early to give that respite into crews, but until the point as we required it, we would never then try and encroach or to go to the national scale. We did what we did within the times and within the strategy that we set.
The scale of this fire has tested a service which itself is spread over a very large area. But talking to the media today, the tone was upbeat.
We were on top of the fire, and unfortunately we had a breakout when the weather changed, which we've dealt with. As I've reported, we have now over 48 hours we've contained the fire and there's been no further fire spread within that area. Small areas of burn back are reported, which has been normal in these areas, but yes, we have the fire contained and it's well within the limits we expected it to be.
We've all seen the pictures of the smoke going into the air for days and days and days. Should people be concerned about what's in that smoke, any toxins?
We've been active all the way through with the monitoring of this. Now, we've had no ill health reports, effects, and the health agencies have been a centre point within the coordination and the command structures with this. So they've dealt with all of those things.
But of course, the spread of smoke and any flaring pockets of fire are in the hands of the weather. What the wind and rain do in the coming days will be critical.
Everybody has been praying for rain, and we don't say that lightly. Rain isn't part of anybody's strategy within there, but of course, if we get the rain, it will help in those areas and it helps with our firefighting tactics too.
Jonathan Dyson, the Chief Fire Officer at North Yorkshire Fire and Rescue Service, ending that report. Well, Dr Ailish Graham at Leeds University researches the impact of fires on air quality and people. I asked her what the effects of this fire's duration and spread might be.
We often see a downwind impact from the smoke that the fire releases. Often people who live nearby might breathe this in. But they can mitigate this by trying to stay indoors and keep their windows and doors shut when they can smell smoke. Our nose is kind of our best friend in this instance. We can often smell smoke before we can see it.
The fact it's peat burning, what sort of potential dangers does that pose? Because that peat is a carbon sink, isn't it? Does that create extra challenges?
Yeah, so peat fires are particularly hard to put out actually, because the fire can burn into the peat, and so then it's burning underground. It can spread away from where it initially burned and then can re-emerge, which is what we've kind of seen in this instance. Once the wind's picked up, the embers from that burning peat have then spread and reignited the fire downwind of where it started.
I think this is one of the largest fires Yorkshire's seen. It's some 10 square miles, which is a huge fire. How far are those health impacts spread? Because I know wind takes the smoke a long, long way, doesn't it?
Yeah, so we initially saw that the fire was, the plume from the fire was blowing towards Whitby, but then the wind swung round to a southeasterly direction, which blew the plume towards Leeds. And the University of Leeds, Leeds Beckett and Leeds City Council actually have a network of low-cost air quality sensors, and those detected the plume reaching as far as Leeds and York in the initial stages of the fire. So it can have very far-ranging impacts.
So it's not those just adjacent to the fire, it's further afield as well. Do you think this is something we're likely to see more of, given the climate change that we're all sort of witnessing?
Well, unfortunately, under climate change, it is likely that we'll see more weather conditions that would support a wildfire or make it more likely to occur. This is kind of the second large wildfire that the UK's experienced. The last largest one was the Saddleworth Moor fire, which you might remember in 2018. So it does seem like they're becoming more common, and the fire service seem quite aware of this risk. They now have a wildfire officer in West Yorkshire. So unfortunately, it is likely that we'll see more common conditions that would allow a wildfire to happen in the future.
OK, well, interesting to talk to you. Lovely to see you. Thank you for coming in, Dr. Ailis Graham from the University of Leeds. Thank you.
Thanks.
Next tonight, one of Yorkshire's busiest railway stations is set to close for a month from tomorrow as part of major upgrade work to the Trans-Pennine railway line. Almost 10,000 people a day use the rail station in Huddersfield, but from tomorrow, passengers will need to take a bus to Brighouse to get on a train. Slower journeys and disruption are expected. Here's our transport correspondent, Spencer Stokes.
Shipped in from Denmark, one of the biggest cranes in Europe is poised, ready to lift a new steel bridge into place so that heavier freight trains can pass through Huddersfield Station. That's just one element of the work that begins tomorrow. Platforms will also be extended, new tracks laid, and there'll be preparations for electrification of the line. But to allow the work to happen, Huddersfield has to close for a month, with passengers being bussed to Brighouse for connecting services.
It's for lots of reasons. It's to take freight off the roads, get HGVs off the M62 and run more freight trains. It's about improving the local rail service for all the communities along the line, doubling the local service, and it's also about improving those interregional links that we've heard for so many years people frustrated about delays or slow journey times, low frequencies. So it's about improving the whole rail offer through West Yorkshire.
One thing that isn't changing is the much-loved station facade, but the two pubs at each end of the building, the Head of Steam and the King's Head, will be closed for a month. And taxi drivers are worried about the impact on them. With no trains, trade dries up.
All the passengers that we get are usually from the train station. The more people that come in, the more fares we get. But once that's closed, there will be no fares coming in.
After HS2, the Trans-Pennine upgrade is the biggest rail investment scheme in the country, with £11 billion being spent on the route. When the work is completed in the early 2030s, trains from Leeds to Manchester will take 41 minutes, and there'll be 6 trains an hour. For the next month, though, buses will be providing backup from Huddersfield. Passengers being warned their journeys will take longer.
It'll impact me because I go to my daughter's in Leeds, so I will have to drive more. Sometimes I drive, sometimes I go on the train, but it'd be nice to have the option. But it will be worth it in the end when the station's all finished and the work's done.
Capacity's not really there at the moment, so obviously putting the extra track in, it's going to sort of ease up the bottleneck that Huddersfield's creating, so I think it's ultimately a positive thing.
I think we definitely need a bit of an upgrade in terms of what the station looks like. It's just unfortunate that they have to be shut for an entire month.
Strategically, we need to improve rail capacity, we need to invest in more rail infrastructure, in more carriages. So it's been a long time in the making, but you can see from all the work that's on site here, that investment going in the ground, it's not being spent in London, it's being spent here in Yorkshire.
Further down the line, Deaton Station will be closed until 2027, Ravensthorpe until 2028. And when passengers return to Huddersfield at the end of September, the work won't be finished. There'll be another month-long closure to complete the job in 17 months' time. Spencer Stokes, BBC Look North, Huddersfield.
Thank you, Spencer. So the big question is, how will passengers travel then, and where's the best place to get help? Well, Huddersfield is a main hub for services to Manchester, Sheffield, Leeds and York. For travellers, replacement buses will take passengers to Brickhouse to pick up trains there or find alternative routes. Now, for passengers travelling to and from Manchester, Staley Bridge will act as a road and rail interchange with onward travel from there. That's doubling the journey time between Huddersfield and Manchester. Now, the best advice is to check your journey before you travel. You're watching Friday's Look North. Still to come on tonight's programme. We hear from two of Yorkshire's brightest amateur prospects ahead of the World Boxing Championships next week. OK, let's get some news in brief now. The body of a man recovered off the East Yorkshire coast has been formally identified as a Leeds dad of two. Matt McDavid disappeared swimming near Flamborough in July. His body was recovered near Holderness last week. Tomorrow, a group of his friends and family are doing a walk from Scarborough to Flamborough to raise money for the Coast Guard and groups who helped in the search for Matt. A former detective who started a relationship with a reported sex offence victim whose case he was working on has been jailed for 2 years and 3 months. 55-year-old Wasim Bashir was found guilty of 1 count of misconduct in a public office for having a sexual relationship with the woman while working in the Kirkley safeguarding team with West Yorkshire Police. Sheffield Crown Court heard the woman started a relationship with Bashir after reporting a sexual assault to police in 2020. A man from Sheffield who stole 40 boxes of weight loss drug Manjaro from the pharmacy he was working at has avoided jail. 38-year-old Kurt Day also stole 60 boxes of the painkiller dihydrocodeine from the Well pharmacy in Harrogate, a value totalling over £4,000. At Harrogate Magistrates Court today, he was given a 32-week prison sentence, suspended for 18 months. The fashion retailer Debenhams could be bringing hundreds of jobs to South Yorkshire. The brand, which was bought by Boohoo in 2021, is planning to close the distribution centre in Burnley early next year. The site currently employs around 1,200 staff. A spokesperson said they'll begin transferring operations to Sheffield, which could offer greater capacity and efficiencies. Now, a teddy bear picnic has been held today in honour of Sheffield teenager Harvey Wilgoose. There were games, a disco and bouncy castle, with children asked to bring their own teddies to the party. Harvey's mum, Caroline Wilgoose, says the event at Bayton Miners Welfare will help fund the youth club. Harvey's Hub, launched in honour of her son, who was murdered at school back in February.
We did a big fundraiser to raise money for obviously the youth club, Harvey's Hub, and obviously putting these things on Sunday. We did a football event. We raised £7,000, which is all going to kids in our community. This was his happy place, playing for Magpies on fields. He would have loved all this. He loved socialising.
Harvey's mum, Caroline, talking there. Now, one of the biggest painting projects in the history of the Yorkshire Air Museum has been unveiled. This time-lapse footage shows how the museum at Elvington near York repainted its Victor K2 tanker in camouflage colours. The first time it's had this design since the 1980s. The repaint took 4 months and was unveiled to the public yesterday at an event where a talk was also given about the role the Victor's played in the Falklands conflict. OK, let's turn to sport now. I think we'll gloss over last night's Super League, if you don't mind. Castleford Tigers suffered, I'm afraid, a 5th straight defeat by 46 points to 6 at Lee. But there was much better news in athletics, I'm glad to say. At the Diamond League meeting in Zurich, Halifax 800-metre runner Max Bergin pushed the Olympic champion Emmanuel Wonyi to all the way to the line. Bergin finished second, just short of a personal best time. Now, there's an important weekend of cricket coming up, so we need the weather to hold for that. On Sunday at Scarborough, Yorkshire's men host the one-day semi-final against Hampshire. But also in London, it's the climax of the 100 Northern Superchargers women who go into the elimination semi tomorrow against London Spirit. If they win, they will switch from the Oval to Lord's for Sunday's final. Southern Brave are already waiting for them. That final, by the way, is live on BBC Two on Sunday afternoon. Now, this time next week, some of our region's most promising young boxers will be representing Great Britain at the Amateur World Championships being staged in a new format for the very first time in Liverpool. And if you hadn't heard of Tegan Stott or Alice Pumphrey before, well, you soon will have, as Paul Ogden has been finding out.
Beware the warm, friendly smile of Alice Pumphrey. It's genuine, of course, but it hides her vicious boxing and other sporting talents. She started out as a young footballer with Manchester United, but it's boxing that eventually brought her over the Pennine border to Batley in West Yorkshire. Her life decisions so far have already produced world, European and national titles, and that was just the start.
In 10 years' time, I'll have Olympic gold medals and world titles, hopefully. So you've got to make the right choices in your life, and I feel like I'm making the right ones.
Olympics, it's not far off.
Yeah. Definitely Commonwealths next year, then the Olympics 2 years later. But I believe in myself, and I know that I'm capable of getting that gold medal at the Olympics.
Similarly single-minded is Sheffielder Tegan Stott. Having had his first big boxing break in defeat, he has no doubt now that the Los Angeles Olympics in 2028 will feature himself.
Lost in the national finals, got the call up for England, did a year with England, and then progressed from the England performance pathway onto GB. It's been a fast track, but I'm ready for it all.
Quite a commitment once you get into the GB family, isn't it? Yeah. Are you combining it with another career, academic or otherwise?
No, nothing. Put all my eggs into one basket when I was young, and now it's paying off. You know, don't recommend everyone does that, but if it's what you truly want, then why not? You know what I mean? Put all eggs in one basket, and if that plan fails, then you find a new plan after.
Next week's World Championships start in Liverpool on Thursday and will not be the last we hear of our Team GB contingent, which, by the way, will also feature Emily Asquith, Sheffield Hallam student and national light heavyweight champion. She's been drafted in from the England Performance Talent Pool. Paul Ogden, BBC Look North, Sheffield.
Thanks, Oggy, and we wish them the best of luck as well. Now, on Sunday, Liz Hatton would have been 18 years old, a milestone that she's never reached after being diagnosed with a rare cancer, aggressive and desmoplastic small round cell tumour. But that's not to say that Liz from Harrogate didn't make the most of the time she had. She made friends from all over the world and every part of society with her determination to complete her photography bucket list, which included picturing royalty, comedians, ballet dancers and models. Well, I'm glad to say her mum Vicky and brother Matteo join us now. First of all, Vicky, how are you and how's the family?
Yeah, it's been a difficult summer. I think you naturally spend more time together as a family over the summer, and I won't pretend we found it easy because we haven't. But we are very committed to doing the fundraising, and that has definitely helped Matteo and I get through it, right? Because it makes us feel like we're doing one last thing for Liz and making life better for other people, doesn't it?
And I suppose that's that living link to her, isn't it? I mean, it's fair to say, isn't it, she was a remarkable young lady because many people, given her diagnosis, may have felt the need to retreat perhaps from life, but she embraced it to the full. Where did she get that energy and determination from?
She did. Liz was exceptionally stubborn, probably because she comes from a family of exceptionally stubborn people, and nobody was going to tell her that she couldn't do the things that she wanted to do. But we were also very, very lucky that she had an incredible medical team at LGI, headed up by Dr. Bob and Gabby, who went out of their way to make those dreams happen and make them possible, which is why we're so passionate now about researching palliative care and making sure every young person gets that incredible opportunity to live those last months of their life in the way that they want to, in the way Liz did.
Now, I know, Matteo, you and Mum have been up to some very busy stuff in the last few weeks. Tell me what you've been doing.
We've been doing Marathon Your Way in a month, which is over the course of August. You've got to try and do a marathon, not in one day. Well, you can do it in one day if you like.
Just tell me how you've done, because you've been taking part in that yourself, haven't you?
Yeah. I've done 2 marathons and I'm 2 miles away from doing my 3rd marathon.
You must be enormously proud of him, because he's just 9 years old, this young man, isn't he? So, in a way, he's got the same kind of, he's cut of the same cloth that Liz was, isn't he?
He is definitely determined, aren't you, to make a difference. And, you know, some days he's done as many as 8 miles in a day.
That's extraordinary.
He has been absolutely incredible. Swimming 2 miles in one go on one day, which took him 2.5 hours, and he just kept going without thinking, nearly 3, yeah. But utterly, yeah, so proud of him.
And Matteo, this is kind of caught on, isn't it? Because, I mean, so many people have gone with it, haven't they, this challenge?
They have. We've had about 60 people joining in, haven't we? And some people have come and done a 3-legged race with you, a 3-legged mile with you.
Walking backwards with
walking backwards with mittens. Auntie Amanda did, didn't she? You did a mile across a trampoline park. But, yeah, people from all around the world have joined in. We've had people in America, Tenerife, Peru, as well as people from Scotland and more locally.
America.
Yeah, definitely.
Tell me about this calendar that you've got out, which I believe is launched today, is that right?
It has, it's launched today, isn't it? So we've got a photograph of 12 of Liz's very best, a calendar of 12 of Liz's...
I think you can see it on the monitor now, actually. I think some of the images.
Very best photographs. We've shown you 5 of them to give you a bit of a hint of the things that might be in there.
The rest of them are a secret.
The rest of them are a secret, aren't they? to surprise people when they open it. But a mixture of famous people and of photos that mean a lot to us as a family and that we think will mean a lot to the people looking at them. And every penny of that is going towards raising money for research into the palliative care of young people with cancers that have less than a 15% survival rate. People can find a link to buy it on either Liz's Instagram, which is Liz Hatton _photography, or on any of the Capture Desmoplastic Small Round Cell Tumour
Thank you
pages.
so much. Lovely to see you, Vicky and Matteo. Thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you for having us.
Now, it's a craft that dates from the 18th century and had its peak during the Victorian times. Then there were hundreds of piano makers working up and down the country. Now, though, there's just one left in the UK, and it's in Yorkshire. Jazz musician Jamie Cullum is a fan of the pianos they make on the Bolton Abbey estate in Wharfdale. Kathy Killick has been to see and hear them in action.
Tucked away in a corner of Wharfdale, Britain's last piano makers patiently ply their trade. This is Cavendish Pianos, maintaining a centuries-old craft with pride and care.
I've always liked pianos, and from a very early age I learnt that you could take the front off the piano and look at all the hammers moving, and it's just something that fascinated me.
So intricate are the inner workings of a piano, they take 6 months to make. There are 20,000 separate parts. Each one has to be millimetre precise, from the felts under the keys to the keys themselves.
Each piano is slightly different, and it's great. It's like a piano being born, really, when a piano is finished. It's like a kind of alchemy or magic, really, you know, that you can produce a beautiful musical instrument with a soul, really.
Tim Garside is a cabinet maker by training, but loves working on pianos, despite, he says, being unable to play a note.
My creativity is satisfied by doing the woodwork and the practical side of things, and it is really rewarding when one of the piano technicians then turns what I've put together into a musical instrument.
Sharp or flat? sharp.
The business also trains piano tuners and technicians. It all helps to keep the skills alive. Meanwhile, back in the workshop, the painstaking craft continues. They may now be the only piano makers in Britain, but they're determined not to be the last.
People tend to think it's an old-fashioned skill like thatching or basket weaving, but the thing about pianos is they're just as relevant today as they were 100 years ago.
At that time, British pianos were known for their rounded, mellow tone, and that's what these pianos preserve. A sound tradition, handcrafted. Cathy Killick, BBC Look North, Wharfdale.
That really is a beautiful sound. Long may it continue, that making of pianos here in Yorkshire. Well, Kat and I, we were on earlies the other day, and here we are at the other end of the scale now.
I know.
Feels like kind of semi-permanent jet lag, doesn't it?
It does.
How's
I'm
the weather
feeling okay
looking?
today, though. Do you know, we actually started off with a lot of cloud fill, as you can see from this really gloomy, moody photo here. But this afternoon, it was an improving picture. It really did brighten up, as you can see from the second photo here. Some lovely spells of sunshine, and actually Leeds city centre at the moment, it's beautiful out there. So a really lovely end to our Friday. So thank you, as always, sending in your pictures. If you'd like your picture on the telly, you can send it in to us via social media, or you can head straight to the Weather Watchers website. So this weekend, it's going to be quite unsettled. We're looking at outbreaks of rain through Saturday. It's going to be a widespread area of rain catching all areas, and then sunny spells and showers on Sunday. So as you can see, it's really low pressure that's going to be driving our weather over the coming days, even into next week. I mean, it's looking quite showery. There's going to be longer spells of rain at times, feeling quite autumnal, and very fitting because Monday is the start of meteorological autumn. So out there this evening, there's still going to be some showers pulling in from the west. We may get the odd heavy burst, but most of these are going to clear off by the end of the night. Clear skies to follow, and temperatures will fall away to around 12 degrees. So still in double figures into Saturday morning. See you next high waters then. We've got Scarborough at 8:58 tomorrow morning, and then Filey at 9:17. So a beautiful start to Saturday. Apart from one or two showers, it's looking mostly dry with really good spells of sunshine. But as the day progresses, that cloud's going to increase. Here's that large area of rain that's going to move through, and notice the greens in the rain as well. This indicates the heavier bursts, especially as that rain moves into the Pennines. We're looking at highs tomorrow of around 19 to 21 degrees. And then once that rain is out the way on Saturday, Sunday, we're looking at a day of sunny spells and scattered showers. We'll continue showery into next week. And as mentioned, Monday is the beginning of meteorological autumn.
Yeah, autumn draws on, doesn't it? We need the rain, though. That's the main thing.
We absolutely do.
Thanks, Kat. That's as far as we go for now. We'll be back with a late bulletin at 10:30. In the meantime, enjoy the rest of your evening. Good night.